All right, guys, so I'm in the media center, so you might hear some background noise, but hopefully you can focus on me and hear what we're doing here. All right, so this is the rest of our Unit 1 review for our test. So I'm down at Section 9, so the last section. We're doing the Pythagorean theorem. So we're doing this section right here, but it's going to take me a little bit of room, so we're going to do it on this sheet, especially the first two. All right, so 24, Part A, tells me that my A is 5. Remember, we're going to take that 5, we're going to plug it in right there. Our B equals 12, we're going to take our 12 and plug it into that B, and then we're looking for our C. Go ahead. Little pause for a sec.
I was going to say if you could go ahead and make, she's got to leave it too.
Let me finish these three. Okay, sorry guys. All right, so again, 5 is going to go into A, 12 is going into B, and then C is what we're looking for. So that's going to give us 5 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared. So if I do 5 squared on my calculator, 5 times 5 is 25, plus 12 squared, 12 times 12 is 144. If you don't know that, that's okay, just punch it in your calculator, and that equals C squared. So now I've got 25 plus 144 equals 169. So I've got 169 equals C squared, but again, we're not finished. This is what C squared equals. I need to know what C equals. So remember, the inverse of squaring something is take the square root. So I'm gonna do second x squared, that gives me my square root, 169, and that's gonna equal 13. So that was nice, came out even, so C equals 13, okay? So let's knock out part B of number 24. So part B tells me that A equals 11, tells me that C equals 20. So on this one, I'm looking for what my B equals, okay? Still using the same formula. I'm gonna take 11, plug it into A. I'm looking for B, but don't forget there's still a squared there. And then C is 20 squared. So now I'm gonna punch 11 squared into my calculator. That gives me 121. Guys, if you're squaring something, you don't have to hit the x squared. You could have just done 11 times 11 and it would have still given you 121. So that's plus B squared equals 20 times 20. So there it is without hitting the x squared. You could just do 20 times 20 and that gives you 400. Okay? So now I'm trying to get B by itself. So I'm gonna have to deal with this 121 and this squared. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna move that 121 to the other side, or we're gonna subtract 121 because it was positive. So 400 minus 121 gives us 279. So that's what B squared equals. I need to take the square root of both sides. So B equals 3 square root of 31. I'm going to go back and read the directions. It doesn't tell me to round to the nearest decimal or anything like it. Doesn't tell me to give me the answer in the decimal, so I'm just going to leave it as 3 square root of 31. Okay? So now let's do number 25. We're almost finished. Number 25, let's read it together. It says a field hockey field is a rectangle 60 yards by 100 yards. I'll go ahead and draw that. So my rectangle is 60 yards by 100 yards. What is the length of the diagonal? What is the length of the diagonal from one corner of the field to the opposite field? So we want to know, I'm going to do it in a dotted or a dashed line. So we want to know how long is that dashed line, right? So we know that that's 100 and that's 60. So basically we know that this leg is 100, this leg is 60. Remember back from our notes, the one across from the right angle was always going to be my hypotenuse or my C. So either one of these is A and the other one's B. It doesn't matter which one. So I'm gonna say my 100 is A. So that's gonna be 100 squared plus 60 squared equals C squared. So 100 times 100, there's one way you can punch it in. That gives me 10,000 plus, I'm gonna do this one the other way, 60. And if you'll just hit the x squared, see it puts the exponent of 2 right there. And that gives us 3,600. So I'm gonna do 10,000 plus 360. That gives me 13,600 equals C squared. This is what C squared equals. I need to find out what C equals. I'm gonna take the square root of both sides. And that gives us, hard to see, somebody wrote on my calculator, that gives us 116.619. I'm gonna take that 9, make that 1 move up. So I'm gonna put 116.62. I'll write my answer over here on the side, 116.62, but I am not finished. It told me that my rectangle was 60 yards by 100 yards. So this has to be yards. Don't forget your units. Okay, so that's the end of our unit 1 test review. We'll go over this a little bit before our test, but you will have a test next week. I think it'll be your second day that you're with me next week. Thanks.